Hello and welcome to Entropic Sonic Designs. This beginning of series is going to be an exploration in Unreal Engine 5 and sounds and approach to what we do regularly, but in a different way. I wanted to do this series with the title "What If." So the next videos are going to be approach to sounds and tactics we have, but we're gonna take it up to a different way and different approach. In this video, we're gonna explore how we can trigger footsteps with trigger boxes instead of the very standard physical materials. Approach. So if you know by now, mostly we do trace by channel, and we have this generally easy way of getting selecting each materials and each physical material, and by that changing the sound within our engine. But for this approach, I was wondering, what if we do not have physical materials, and what if we want to trigger different footsteps based on triggers and on trigger boxes. So for now, what I have done is I just have laid down 3 different trigger boxes, and we are going to see how we can, by overlapping with a character, change footsteps to our character. So to do that, we have first of all to have some footstep sounds. For now, I have import 3 different categories of footsteps: concrete, grass, and gravel. You can input whatever you want, grass, soil, whatever you wish to import. I just pulled out of a hat a few sounds that I had scattered around, and I just import them just to have a sound when we want it. The first thing that we need is to create a blueprint for the footsteps. So we're going to create an actor blueprint. We're going to name it BP_footsteps, and we're going to double click and open it. Now here we can delete that for now, have a clean blueprint. So we want to call the sound cues and the sounds for the footsteps. So in order to do that, we're going to play sound at location, and we're gonna need how many footsteps we do have? We have 3, so we're gonna need 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. So now that we do have the 3 individual play sound at location, we're going to just add the cue, where is it? Footstep concrete. Then we're going to add footstep grass, and then the cue footstep gravel. Now, there's a chance that you don't know how to create the sound cues. That is not a video on how to creating sound cues, so I assume you know how to do that. If not, and I think a lot of interesting videos out there for that. I will post in comments a few of them, and you can go ahead and find out how you can create sound cues. Now that we have the play sound at location and we have assigned a cue for each footstep, let's see how we're going to continue. For that purpose, we're going to need custom events, and we're going to custom we're gonna add a custom event. The first one is gonna be FT for footstep underscore. What is the first one? Concrete. Concrete. And we're going to connect this here. Then we're going to add another custom event. We're gonna name it FT grass, and we're going to connect it to the place on that location of the grass. And then we're gonna need another one, custom event, and we're gonna name it FT gravel. Oops. All right. The next thing that we need is to pass the anim notify information from the animation of our character. So we have to go to the mannequins in the animations and open the blueprint for the animation. Now inside here, you have to set to the right animation. You have to set notifications. Where was it? Here, I think that is, yeah. So you have to make add notify, new notify, and then you're going to just type footsteps or whatever you want to have as a title for the animation notification, and then you will just add it here. You can either probably you're gonna do a copy paste, so you're going to copy it and then you're gonna paste and paste and paste and paste until you have all the footsteps on the right spot. So each individual footstep is gonna have a notification here. So after that, you are going to go here to the animation blueprint of the mannequin, and you are going to just add an anim notify. Where is it? A footstep. Where's footstep? Anim notify. Event anim notify. Footstep. This one. So that's that for now. The next thing we need to do is to somehow extract information from the triggers we have here in our level blueprint. So in order to do that, we are going to open the level blueprint if we haven't done it yet. And we're going to what we're going to do is going to click the trigger box and then go to the level blueprint, right click and say on actor begin overlap, and if you scroll full up you will see a reference to this one, begin overlap here. So trigger box on actor begin overlap. Now we need to do the same for the trigger box 2. So we click on the trigger box 2, we select it here in outline in our outliner, and again on actor, if I spell it correctly, on actor begin overlap, trigger box 2, there it is, and the same for the trigger box 3. Scroll a little bit down, on actor, oh my god, actor begin overlap, here it is. So we have 3 different trigger box overlaps, yeah? So if you remember from the beginning, we have created these 3 custom events and somehow we need to call them. But in order to call them, we need to send the call from the anim notify. So we need every time that the anim notify footstep sends an event, we need to send this trigger to these different custom events. So how to do this? In order to do this, we are going to create a new folder. I have created already, and you're going to name it interfaces. In there, we're going to create a blueprint, and we're going to name it int footsteps. double click it, open the interface, and name the function footstep BP ref, or give any kind of name that it's helpful for you. Now we're gonna add a new variable, and we're gonna name this variable footstep BP var. And it's not gonna be Boolean, but we are gonna call the blueprint. So we're gonna type BP footsteps, and we're gonna click the object reference, and we're gonna compile and save. So now we're going to return to the blueprint of the footsteps, and on the top here you will see a class settings. If you click that, on the right side in the details you will see implemented interface, and it's not going to have something because we need to add something. What we are going to add is the interface that we created, and it's going to be the int footsteps. By the time that you will add this interface here, you will see that it is added also in the right side in the interfaces as a function. If we compile and save and double click that, then we're gonna just drag a node from there and type self. Get a reference to self. Now anything that we include, compile and save, and now anything that we include in our blueprint, it's going to be posted, it's going to be sent to the interface of the footsteps. So now what we can do is we can go back to the animation blueprint, and we can right click and just type class, and you will see the get actor of class. Now from there we are going to choose the BP footsteps, and from there I'm always compiling and saving for always. So be my guest and always do that. It's gonna save you some troubleshooting. So from there we are going to just type footsteps, and you will see, if you have the context sensitivity, you will see that under the class, you will have the int footsteps, and you need the specific that pass a message. So click that, and you will see that the executable would be linked with the interface and the return value to the target. So now, if we link the anim footstep, every time that we trigger, if you remember from the animation here, where is it? I think that was it. Yes. So every time that the anim notification will be triggered by this message, it's gonna go here, and every time that this event gonna be triggered, it's gonna pass this trigger to whatever we want to pass it. So let's go back to the footsteps blueprint on the event graph, and here remember the custom events and how you have named it. I have named them like so, and we're going back to the anim blueprint, and from the footstep reference we're going to call this event. So we're gonna type ft, and you see call function ft. For the first one we're gonna call ft concrete. So here it is, and then we're going to just drag again a node, and we're gonna call the ft grass, and then we're gonna call the ft gravel. In order to make it a little bit better, I'm always double clicking and creating this kind of dot node in order to have it a little bit more neat and be able to see this a little bit clearer. So here it is. Compile and save. What we have done up until now, we have created an interface, and we can send the animation notification every time that the footstep steps down to the individual sound location here, sound at location here in our blueprint of footsteps. But we don't want to play all the footsteps at once. We need to certainly incorporate these trigger boxes that we have here. So every time that it's gonna step to the trigger box 1, it's gonna play, let's say, the footstep concrete. Every time that it's gonna step on the trigger box 2, it's gonna play the grass footsteps, and every time that it's gonna step on the trigger box 3, it's gonna play the gravel footstep. So in order to do that, we have to create a few variables and a condition. So what we're gonna do is gonna create a new Boolean variable. We're gonna name it trigger01 on, and another one trigger02 on, and another one trigger03 on. We're gonna drag them, and we're gonna click get trigger, and we're going to right click, create a branch, and we're gonna link this to the condition, and we're gonna link the executable to pin to the event and the true to the play sound at location. So every time that the trigger is true, the branch is gonna be true, the condition is gonna be true, therefore it's gonna play the sound. The same is gonna happen for the rest of the play sound at location. So we're gonna link this as it looks here. Control-C, Control-V, copy paste, and true here. And then we're gonna we're gonna get the trigger 02, link it to the condition of the second one, and the third, get it here, link it to the condition. So now we have the general condition, but we do not have a way that this is gonna be on or off. We don't know when it's going to be true or it's going to be false. How we're going to do that? We're going to return back to the third person level blueprint, and we're going to do the same thing that we did here in the anim blueprint. We're going to right click, create, get an actor class, get an actor of class. We're gonna choose the BP footsteps. Where is it? Here. From there, we're going to drag out of the return value node, and we're gonna type footstep, and we're gonna click again to this one that has in the parentheses the message. Click that, and then just copy and paste that 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Out of the footstep reference node, we're gonna just type trigger, and we're gonna click on the set trigger 1, and we're gonna link the execution node, and then we're gonna click out of the second trigger, set trigger 02, and then trigger, set trigger 03. Remember that you need to click the box in order for the triggers to be true. Otherwise, every time that it will be triggered, it will be false. Compile and save. So now what we do have is the animation notification event that sends to our class actor blueprint footsteps through the interface. It sends the event every time that the footstep is down on the ground for all of them. But because in the blueprint we don't want all of them to play constantly and together, we have conditioned it the logic, the code here, and we have added that every time that the trigger 01 is true, then the sound of concrete it will play. The trigger 02 is true, then the grass are going to play, and trigger 03 is true, the gravel sounds are going to play. The last thing that we need to do is we have to go here in the blueprints, and we have to choose the blueprint footstep and throw it inside our level blueprint. From there, we are going to have a nice and neat footsteps on triggers. So let's make a test. Start playing. You will see that here we do not have any footsteps, but hopefully when we access in the triggers, we have concrete here. We have, so there is the mistake we have done. You see, we have concrete and grass now. Why? Because if we go back to our, to the level blueprint, we have done the on actor begin overlap, but we haven't done on actor end overlap, because now we set it on true, but we haven't set it on false. So what we need to do is we have to let's zoom out a little bit, grab the, where is it? Yeah, is that trigger box 1, and go to the level blueprint and type on actor end overlap. Do the same for the trigger box 2 on actor end overlap. Do the same for the box 3. Right click on actor end overlap. And basically what we need is the same code here, copy paste it, link it to the end of overlap trigger boxes, and just untick the boxes for the trigger to set the value to false. Now if we go to play it again, we're gonna see that here again we don't have any sound, but if we go here we're gonna have concrete sound. When we're gonna go outside of the trigger, it's gonna make the value of the trigger false, and we're gonna enter to the grass. We're gonna have grass footsteps out of the trigger is gonna be false, and if we go up here we're gonna have the gravel. There it is. So that is it for now. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Again, it's an experimentation, seeing and checking around interfaces and how to incorporate them for different blueprints, and how to communicate within different blueprints. Remember that we have communicated information through the anim blueprint to the footstep blueprint to the third person level blueprint. It is a nice and neat way to communicate stuff around, and you can do experimentation. So again, this video is what if we don't have physical materials and we need footsteps to change. We can do that with triggers, as we saw. Thank you very much again, and cheers.